I have pissed off the world again, this time with a post I made on Threads 2 days ago. JK Rowling's contributions to culture and literature transcend any bad takes she has on trans people. Boycotting her work is pointless and only harms people working in the industry. If you want to make the very valid accusation that I'm just posting these things for clout, you're not wrong, because it seems to be all I do lately. The main reason I'm doing it is actually, yeah, for that reason, because I like the engagement and it gives me something to bounce off, and it's usually on subjects that I actually want to talk about, hence the video. So let's get into it. It's amazing to me how with Threads, you end up with all this engagement when I only have, at the moment, I only have 115 followers on Threads, but then I make a post about something like this and it gets 34,000 views and 669 replies. Wow. So let's just go through some of the comments and see what people have been saying. Funnily enough, they're not all terrible. Actually, a lot of people agreed with me for some reason, but given the ratio, clearly, it's not great. I'm also interested to see what the reposts are, but I don't think, mind you, her work is derivative as full of racist microaggressions, lazy, and steals from its predecessors. Oh, what art doesn't steal from? Okay. Harry Potter fans are delusional. It's literally a children's book about wizards. Grow the fuck up. Okay. LaMayo, love a good ratio. Same. I'm always confused why people like this lie that she just has bad takes when she bankrolls legal attacks on the rights of trans people in the UK. No comment. I don't know who needs to hear this, but some of your hot takes are really just bad takes. I'm sure you intended for me to hear that, but okay. Pissing off the world as usual. But yeah. You look like you'd say this, dork. Wow. Wow. I'm a dork. 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 All right. Just going to read a few more, see if they inspire any discussion. Hot take, the lives of many real people are more important than the adventures of one person's make-believe people. Oh, and they've put in quotes literature. Well, yeah, it is literature. How many books have you published? Have her tongue. My tongue getting hairy. Not pointless, especially when she said every single dollar you spend on her work, she funnels into anti-trans work and she considers it an endorsement of her views. You are literally communicating to her that you support a criminalization and demonetization of trans people. There are so many fantasy stories you can enjoy without that baggage. But what I find interesting is that there's a new Harry Potter series coming out. And first of all, this is something I always predicted. I always thought, yeah, it would make way more sense as a TV series, right? But I have to wonder, if JK Rowling is truly cancelled, if these radical voices in this space are really having an impact, then why would they start a TV series? Maybe it's because it's easy enough to just separate the art from the artist. And more to my initial point, which I stand by, what JK Rowling has created is a lot bigger than her. And it's going to impact more people. It's going to impact the industry. You know, there's the franchise, the movie rights, the films, the TV shows, or the everything that is Harry Potter. It's an industry now. It is a staple of the entertainment industry. It's countless jobs, a lot of people who are not anti-trans, a lot of voices in this space who more or less will not necessarily align with JK Rowling as a person, but they're still benefiting from her work. And so that is exactly what I was saying. Boycotting her work is pointless because you'll only harm the people working in the industry. I don't personally align with JK Rowling on a lot of the trans issues. I'll always listen to it and I'll always have the time of day to listen to other people's perspectives, but that's just me. I don't really get emotionally invested in this sort of thing because it's just not helpful, which is why I listen to The Witch Trials of JK Rowling by Megan Phelps Roper, who, if you're not familiar with who she was one of the earliest, most publicly departed members of the Westboro Baptist Church, which is also a cult, sort of like radical extremists. Though I will add, the Westboro Baptist Church is also famously non-violent. They've at least got that going for them, and that's probably why the Westboro Baptist Church doesn't really get the same coverage it used to, because violence is all the rage these days. And Megan Phelps, you know, she's grown. She went from being a fundamentalist evangelical Christian psycho to marrying and having children with one of the reprobate Jews that she used to sing about in church. She's had a pretty glossy glow up in the grand scheme of things, which was one of the talking points in the Witch Trials. She talks about how she used to be in a cult and how Harry Potter fans, and especially the trans fans who radically went after JK Rowling, when, to be fair, JK Rowling became pretty radical herself, but notwithstanding, detailing what that was like and how Megan Phelps relates to that. She talked a lot to JK Rowling about her views. She also discusses the situation to get the perspectives of trans people in this space who may or may not be fans of JK Rowling or Harry Potter, and she she has a lot of really good conversations. So I would highly recommend listening to this to actually get some perspective if you give a crap. Some of JK Rowling's trans fans are, well, former trans fans, people who are still hurting over it and still really deeply affected by it. There are others who just have hope that she'll come around and that they'll reach a common ground eventually. So not every trans person is on the warpath about JK Rowling. But bottom line is, it's incredibly fun to follow, you know, just the ridiculousness, the freak show that follows JK Rowling everywhere she goes. Not to discount the obvious freak show that JK Rowling has been aligning with herself lately, but I have to talk about Keira Knightley. If you've spent any time in the online social media conservasphere or libbysphere, you may have seen this video going around and some of the reaction to it.
Fans are calling for a boycott, given JK Rowling's ongoing campaign against trans people.
I was not aware of that, no. I'm very sorry. I think we're all living in a period of time right now where we're all going to have to figure out how to live together, aren't we? And we've all got very different opinions. I'm very sorry.
For a bit of background, Keira Knightley is voicing Dolores Umbridge in the Harry Potter audiobook series, I think for the TV series or something like that. Anyway, she's doing voice work in the Harry Potter realm. So she was asked about the trans issues and the boycott and all the rest of it, and she just laughed it off. This is one of those situations where I tend to sympathize for the rich and famous, because on top of being rich and famous, they're also rich and famous for a good reason. Keira Knightley, as a quintessential example of this, she is a working actress. She is just making a living and she's doing a good job, as always, entertaining and being part of the zeitgeist in that realm, you know, in the world of entertainment. She's a working actress. I may not be on board with JK Rowling. I may support trans people, etc. But I see someone like Keira Knightley and I can tell that she's actually genuinely just not really that aware of this stuff. She may have heard trickles of it and just thought, okay, well, that's something I'm staying completely away from, and that's fair enough, because not everyone needs to get on the bandwagon. Not everyone needs to be an activist. I'm sure she's very grateful for how privileged she is and the fact that she doesn't need to participate in all the political stuff. So I'm very sorry to anyone who was hoping that Keira Knightley was going to get on the bandwagon and follow their cause, but not everyone's going to do that. Like, where did this expectation come from that everyone needs to be a activist? And more to that, why her? Like, she is really just an actress. Sorry, I think one of my chickens just shat. I guess stomach rumblings. I've got chickens next to me. I'm keeping them in this tent while they're broody and laying eggs. They're about to hatch this weekend, I think. I thought I heard poo sounds. But I feel really bad for her, because she's probably at some point woken up to all of this and suddenly she's being seen as against trans people, and suddenly on this big conservative bandwagon, you know, the turf wars and all the rest of it, the culture war. And this was not intentional. I don't think for a second that this is intentional. I think that she just got caught off guard and didn't realize what she was saying. And who can blame her? Well, that's bullshit. I mean, obviously I know who's blaming her. But it's a rhetorical question. This just isn't it for either side. Whether you're the person behind Evie magazine saying, oh, why are trans supporters always the most vile and violent? Someone says, I'm sorry, we'll have to figure out how to get along. And trans supporters say, I'm going to off you. Or people like this saying, classic liberalism, we must hold hands with those who want to kill entire groups of people. It's just so... I don't see Keira Knightley on either side of this, and I think it's absurd to assume so much based on just this one innocuous video. But, you know, haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potato. I think being a potato probably applies more. And then this incredibly dramatic meme, someone's replied, I don't know how to explain to you that you should care about other people. Our disagreement is not merely political, but a fundamental divide in what it means to live in a society. I would add that viewing it as a fundamental divide is something else to disagree on, which could in fact be merely political. And back to the quintessential example that Candace Owens sets, where we are a belief-based species, not a facts and logic-based species. So that's why we have religion, and that's why we have conservatives and liberals getting up their own asses in their own ways over Keira Knightley. So I don't want to make this too long, so I'll just leave you with this. I make videos about content creation, building in public, political stuff, commentary, and also I post a lot of chicken content. If you want to subscribe to any and all of that, feel free to subscribe below. Also check out my links. You can find other projects and my other works at beacons.ai/David Gabreel, and my socials are also linked here. I edited this video with CapCut, and if you join with the link in the description, you can get 7 days of Pro for free. I, at the time of recording this, am not currently subscribed, but I'm probably about to because things are about to get hairy and I'm gonna need a lot more functionality from CapCut. I was professionally trained as a video editor back in 2012 when I was in film school, and that's $10,000 I will never get back. I have another video teaching CapCut basics, and moving forward I may shed some light on the industry level capabilities that the software has, because it's just insane. Why did I ever even go to school as an adult? I mean, I was 18, but still. But thank you for watching. Feel free to blast me on the comments. As usual, I think you know, that's what a lot of you are really good for, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a blessed day, as usual. I'm sick of looking at myself. I think that it's unhealthy to be staring in a mirror constantly, so I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you so much.